Greetings to the 12 tribes of Yasharala that are scattered to the four corners of the world. I am back with another video. And in today's video, okay, today is gonna be a continuation of the video that I posted about removing our children or homeschooling our children. What is the end goal? What is the plan um of the enemy? So I'm just going to quickly try and go through a lot of material that I've covered or that that the Most High has allowed me to come across. And I wanted to share with you all. Let me share my screen. Something else like that I noticed, and this will go into the end game. This is when I definitely decided to that I had to get out of the school system, the public school system. Let's see. And yeah, my computer is at 30%, which I didn't realize. So that's why I was saying I have to try and go through it quickly as possible. Okay, so this is from the Instagram page of the school the district that I used to work at. So, back when we returned after we spent 2020-2021 school year virtual, and when we returned to school, we changed our system. Y'all, look at this. Look at the logo here. Like, so when we turn our computer on, and I'm telling other teachers, like, you don't see anything wrong with that, because I'm noticing. And they were like, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, the red adult size hand that's holding this child's hand with the seal on it. This is what was on our every time log on to the system. This is the symbol. This is what comes up. And then our slogan changed to, you know, training students for a global society, training training students to be something citizens in a global society. And I was just, like, yeah, I'm trying to point this out to people. The child's hand has a seal on it. And then I'm showing them, that this is what, when I saw that image, what I thought about was something like this, like a, satanic handshake. But um so this, and then I made a video showing you all how, like, they made a literal play, telling everyone in the district, oh, make sure you have your, Blackboard logged on to the county's website at noon. And even if your class had lunch at noon, they needed to have lunch in the classroom in order to watch this play. And in the play, it was a third grader that was afraid to get the C-19 um inoculation, and she was being told, oh, it's not gonna hurt, it's safe and effective and all type of stuff. And I'm like, are you kidding me? This is what all the talk has been about. Make sure everyone is mandatory log in for this play, and that's what it was about. So they've been pushing this for a long time. Okay, so let me go ahead and let's talk about humanism. So one day I was asleep, and as soon as I woke up, the Most High spoke and just said transhumanism. No, I'm sorry. The Most High said 6G. The spirit said 6G. As soon as I woke up, I heard 6G. I'm like, 6G, what is that? I'm thinking, okay, 6G. Okay, we're in 5G right now. What is 6G? So now that caused me to start looking into um 6G, and y'all, all I can say is you need to look into this stuff. I'm like, oh my goodness, everything that you thought you knew, it doesn't even matter. Like, it's so deep. But we're just going to go over a few websites. This is for educational um purposes only. We're just going over, and I'm gonna say a lot of maybe allegedly and supposedly, suppose or what if or allegedly. Um, okay, so the first goal would be transhumanism. We know this goes back to the vision in Daniel 2, the dream that King Nebuchadnezzar had. He had a dream about a statue, and the statue represented five kingdoms. The statue was multifaceted as far as made of metals, and it represented the kingdom of Babylon, the kingdom of the Medes and the Persians, the kingdom of Rome, and then that last kingdom, the iron was being mixed with miry clay, and um Nebuchadnezzar was told that um once they begin to mingle the iron, which is technology, with the clay, which is man who was created from the dust of the ground, that is when we know that Ahayasha will return, and he's going to tear down this beast system. Okay, that his people have been enslaved under every one of those kingdoms. The children of Yasharala were enslaved under, and prior to that, two kingdoms that aren't even mentioned before that, which is the kingdom of Egypt, the Egyptian captivity, and the Assyrian captivity. We were actually enslaved two kingdoms prior to that as well. So every kingdom that has ruled, we've been going in and out of slavery, which we asked for because we asked for a king over us. We envied these wicked Gentile kingdoms that had man ruling over them. And Samuel warned us what would happen, and this is what our foreparents wanted. And so now we see the repercussions when we had, you know, our creator himself as our king, with priests that would intersect or intervene for us and communicate with him on our behalf. All right, so transhumanism is a philosophical and intellectual movement advocating for the enhancement of human condition through advanced technology. So, we're told that this is just, to advance us. Right now, we're in the fourth generation. We're in the fourth industrial revolution, and transhumanism will be taking us to that fifth generation. Okay, but the Most High is going to, before they fully get to the fifth, the Most High is going to have to come and tear this stuff down, or send, Ahayasha to tear it down, because he said that if he doesn't, no flesh will be saved. Key aspects of transhumanism: to enhance human capabilities, human intellect, physical abilities, senses, and lifespan using technologies like genetic engineering, nanotechnology, and artificial intelligence. This supposedly helps us to overcome limitations such as disease, aging, mortality, aiming for radical life extension, and even technological immortality. Um, And so you all can read, more about this, but they want to mix man and machine. One is because we know allegedly that the fallen and their children have they don't have a good sentence. Okay, they know what their future is. And so, Ahayasha said that anyone who he is the way, the truth, and the life, and anyone that um enters any other way is a thief and a robber. So they're trying to work on ways to they know that eternal death and damnation um is their sentence, but they want to have eternal life, and they have found a back door. They found a back door to eternal life. They found a back door in by studying the millions, or not studying, but yeah, well, studying our DNA in the millions um of different strands that you can un if you untangle a piece of DNA, it's so long, and it's like millions of genetic markers on our DNA, and they have throughout their time that they've been spending at this, they know how they have been able to unlock the code, and even allegedly rewrite the Most High's DNA. And so also, um, we know that that can be done through CRISPR technology, cutting and inserting, cutting DNA, and removing and inserting artificial um, or synthetic writing in our DNA to rewrite our you know, genetic code, as well as being able to give us a third strand of DNA, which can be patented. Because hey, and that is the U.S. Supreme Court said that anyone that has a third strand of DNA that has received RNA can be patented, and is no longer considered human, but because they have now cDNA instead of regular DNA, which means complementary DNA. Okay, the Internet of Things. The Internet of Things refers to a vast network of physical objects, things embedded with sensors, software, and other technologies that enable them to connect and exchange data with other devices and systems over the internet. So we know that the goal is to um, have everything and everyone connected to the internet. All right. We know that our Father is all knowing, He's all powerful, He's almighty. And in order for the adversary to know all things, everything about us, is to have us all connected to the internet, where we have our thoughts are being read, and what we're doing at what time of the day, if we're sleeping, if we are running and exerting ourselves, whatever we're doing is being documented and fed back to this hive mind that everyone will be on. And yeah, and they can not only know what you're doing, but they can allegedly have the ability to send you thoughts that are not your own, and you won't know. You won't be able to differentiate between, is this a original thought of mine, or was this thought sent to me? Okay, the Internet of Bodies. This is where it gets deeper, because those things, as far as the Internet of Things, is actually bodies. You can look this up. Your physical body. The Internet of Body refers to a network of connected devices that interact or are implanted in the human body, collecting data and altering bodily functions. This is what I was telling you all. So it says it's focused significantly on human-centric technology. So right now they've been getting us prepped for it by having us wearing the Fitbits and stuff like that. But they have the ability, allegedly, um, or what if that they had the ability to. That's why you see this push for everyone to go to the doctor online, this virtual healthcare. They want to be able to eliminate you physically coming into an appointment. You can literally meet with your doctor. Your doctor can sit down via the internet and or a virtual appointment, and they can actually just pull you up and log into your body and see your medicine intake, your levels, and your what's it called, your heart rate, your pulse, and all of that. They can just pull it up and get a readout that is being transmitted back to them via 6G. Key aspects of the Internet of Bodies: data collection and analysis. Um, Internet of Body devices gather amounts of personal health biometric data that's used for improved diagnosis, treatment, and preventative care. Biometric monitoring and tracking. Your physical activity, your sleep patterns, heart rates, blood sugar levels, and other vital signs, including the individual's health and behavior. Therapeutic applications such as drug delivery via smart pills or stimulation through implanted devices. Potential for enhancing your cognitive abilities through advancements, physical and cognitive abilities. So, once again, this is this beast system where, okay, this person was blind. We were able to go in and change the genetic code that was causing their blindness and insert something giving them sight. So look, the blind is able to see, the lame is able to walk. Um, because they can go in and whatever in your genome that is causing you to be a paraplegic, they can rewrite that and give you sight. I mean, give you mobile ability or whatnot. So this goes into this them playing, God. Remember, we kind of touched on this article from Harvard Magazine, and this article was back in 2001 that talked about liquid computing. So and basically it talks about putting how the goal is just to put graphene oxide, little tiny that you can't even see with the naked eye, into silicone or a liquid surface. And then it says working with silicone leave rough surfaces that on the nanometer scale. A nanometer is 1/1000th of a meter, or 100,000ths of the width of a human hair. 100,000. So the width of a human hair is 100,000th smaller than that. Okay. Constitute an ever greater population of tiny wires that make up these circuits. So basically, they have the ability, these small nano or wires of graphene or little bits of graphene, they're able to go in, be inserted in, and then self-assemble and connect with one another and build wires. If they were poured out on a table, or if they, even if they were injected into something or someone, they will go in and build wires to create internal, wires. All right. It says he's done this by starting with the smallest of the building blocks, these wires that are only 3 nanometers across, that can be produced relatively cheaply on a bench top or with a few $1,000s worth of equipment. But the nanowire computers of the future will be quite different from those that we use today, because they will require new types of computer architecture and software, which is you, which is the person. Okay. You bring this charged body up, and it biologically or chemically switches the transistor. In essence, you can electrically detect when you have a protein, a nucleic acid, or anything else that you have created is a sensor. So this is something that you all need to just read up on it and inform yourselves. All right, so then it made me start thinking electrical conductivity of the human body. So what if, I'm going to say this, what if they had the ability, what if technology was way beyond what they actually show us, and that they actually have the ability to use the human body, to use your blood, your bones, your tissue, your skin as a computer. All right. We know that the human brain is, 100 computers. It has more storage, and it's smarter than 100 computers, because we only use such a small percentage of our brains. So this says that the human body conducts electricity due to the presence of electrolytes in the body. While not as conductive as metals, the body's high water content, especially when it's combined with dissolved salts and minerals, allows for the flow of electrical current, particularly through the blood and other internal fluids. All right, so water content. The human body is largely composed of water, which is a good conductor when it contains dissolved salts and minerals. Electrolytes, ions such as potassium, sodium, and chloride, and bodily fluids are crucial for electrical conductivity. Skin can be a resistance, especially dry skin. It can act as a barrier to the electrical current. Internal body resistance, the internal tissues and fluids such as your blood, etc., offers low resistance, allowing the current to flow more easily through the skin barrier once the skin barrier is breached. And frequency of current, the body's response to electrical current varies with the frequency. At low frequencies, it flows primarily through extracellular fluids, while at higher frequencies can penetrate cell membranes. All right. So, and then what if I tell you all that they don't even need 5G, 6G, that they don't even need like any electrical source to do this but your human body, because we are made of, 80% water, and we all have a aura. We all have um a aura around us, where our body has 5 feet of electrical energy that it naturally produces. So they've allegedly been able to tap into using your blood, your bones, your brain, your tissue, your blood, your bones, your skin, and tissues as the components of a computer, and use your own aura as the WBAN or as the broadband. It will be your own aura. They don't even need an outside source to do it. And this allegedly has already been being studied and going on since 1956. So then so remember it said here that in the first one, that while not is conductive as metals, the body's high water content, especially when it's combined with dissolved salts and minerals, will allow for flow of electrical current. But then I start thinking, okay, but we have we have um chemicals, we have metals in our body, especially copper, especially us that are melanated, that are called the copper color race. We have a high level of copper in our bodies. And so it says right here that copper is commercially pure copper has a conductivity of 100% IACS, International Annealed Copper Standard, which is defined, and it gives the amount. But I want to show you all where it says, look at this, that says enhanced electrical conductivity in graphene dash copper metal layer. It says copper has the second highest electrical conductivity of all metals. And then when you combine that with graphene, baby, you got a computer. You got a computer. Hear me what I'm saying. The amount of copper in the human body. The human body contains roughly 50 to 120 milliliters of copper. This essential trace mineral is primarily found in the muscle and liver tissue. Copper plays a vital role in various bodily functions, including the production of melanin, bone, and connective tissue. All right. So I'm thinking, okay, but us as Black people, we got more copper, especially those that are copper color, because you have some Black people like that are Hamites, that are Africans, that don't have a high amount of copper like we do. But our skin naturally has a red pigment in it because Adam was created from red clay. And so those of us that are direct descendants of Adam have a a reddish brownish, like what they called ruddy. When King David was being described as ruddy, he's described as having that red mahogany tint to his dark skin. So now it made me think about, okay, I want more details about the amount of copper in Black people's body. All right. And it does say here, it says several studies have explored copper levels in individuals of different racial or ethnic groups. One study found that in a sample of black and white individuals, the copper levels were lower in white men than any other group. Another study focuses on adolescents between 8 and 17 years old found that non-Hispanic Black participants had a higher serum copper concentrations compared to non-Hispanic whites, Mexicans, and Mexican Americans, and other Hispanic groups. All right, so I'm just like throwing stuff out there, you all. Okay. So then I start thinking about Neuralink, and okay, we know that Neuralink is on that beast level as far as what we better not receive or whatnot. But how does Neuralink really work? It's amazing how you can pull up something with AI and then AI will change on you and everything, because what I initially pulled up, I can't um it wasn't wording it the same, but basically, so I pulled up liquid Neuralink. I want to know if Neuralink was liquid, because they're talking about a brain, a chip or an implant in the brain. But come to find out, Neuralink is liquid based, okay? And when Neuralink is injected in the body, Neuralink does have graphene, and the biosensors that Neuralink runs off of runs in the liquid part of the brain. So we have a lot of brain fluid in our head, and so it runs in the liquid part of our brain, and it's implanted, or it's covered with a special metal that will allow even though it runs in the liquid part of our brain, it's covered with a special metal that will prevent any liquids from damaging the damaging the chips, damaging the okay, y'all gotta speed it up. So, but yeah, I couldn't it did not give me the good information that it gave me from the original search. It seemed like, and then the AI started saying it seemed like you're really interested in uh you know it's kind of watching or paying attention to what I'm looking up. So it's told me what I was interested in, and it actually kind of changed my search, or changed the information that it gave me initially when I was questioning Neuralink being liquid. But yes, it um what they show us as far as Neuralink and someone sitting there with um a million wires or a plate on their head, all of this can be done wirelessly, the same way that we've been using 4G and 5G, and we have wires that we don't see. We're able to connect to the internet at home wirelessly. They don't need all of these wires. They can use um Bluetooth, invisible wires connected to us. Okay, and so like I said, Neuralink is a liquid computer chip that runs, well, it can be injected liquidly through liquid, and it operates on the liquid part of your brain, but it is covered um to make sure that nothing penetrates and damages the computer, the brain computer interface. So then like I said, I pulled up information where they have been using biosensors since 1956. Supposedly, Leyland Clark was the first developer of human biosensors. He's known as the father of biosensors. Um, and once again, this has been not only invented, but has actually been being studied since 1956. And what if I tell you that regardless of if you've taken or drunk the Kool-Aid or not, 9 times out of 10, no, 100%, and not even 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, this is already inside of you, allegedly, because of the um we've been ingesting things in our food, in our beverages, um breathing it in through um the smart dust, through the chemtrails. And so it's already in every person that has to breathe here in the United States anyway. And so the if you drunk the Kool-Aid, you have basically been upgraded. You've done the final part that is needed to, get you connected fully to the system. But those of us that have not are, are the ones that are kind of holding out and keeping the system from being at 100% compliance, because that is the goal, that everyone is at 100% compliance. No one will be left on this earth with the plan is that no one will be left on this earth that does not have the original um DNA that was created by the creator, with a two-strand helix, and that you will not have and you need to have we know that most places they've been putting up the blue lights, so you need to also have the luciferase. And when a blue light shines on you, you need to have a glow to you, like a glowfish or a lightning bug or something of that nature. Okay. Um, and so, like I said, we know that this is being done through graphene. That's basically, they can make a computer with graphene and water. Um, Graphene is now being put into everything, our electronics, energy storage, and bio medicine. Remember, bio is your biology, human biology. Um, while many uses are still in development, graphene is already impacting areas like coatings, sensors, and even some consumer products. So we know that it says right here, graphene's flexibility, transparency, conductivity, it makes it ideal for creating bendable and transparent screens for smartphones, wearables, and other devices. But and then it talks about graphene-based sensors can be incredibly sensitive and precise, enabling applications like wearable health trackers, environmental monitoring, and food safety. But like I said, um, this can be done without, as long as you have the graphene internally, and someone with a computer can literally log in. You can be hacked. You fit allegedly your human body can actually be hacked. Okay. Um, so yeah, and we know, like, now they're saying, okay, graphene can be used to clean water. Their graphene and nanotechnology is on like aluminum foil or plastic wrap, things of that nature. So we're getting this graphene in us in all sorts of ways. And so remember, we talked about the last video, I talked about how um different schools have been, well, all public schools throughout the nation had an upgraded system giving of 60 gigahertz of radiation in their system or whatnot, right? And how that will potentially cause, you know, a coronavirus outbreak. Allegedly it can. Okay. So, and I told you all that it will cause the students to start having issues with their skin, with their eyes, lesions, weakness, and their muscles, and things of that nature. But this was called 5G technology and induction of coronavirus in skin cells. This was this was put out by a university in Rome, Italy, um, Department of Nuclear and Subnuclear Radiation and Physics, Rome, Italy, Central Michigan, Signal in Michigan, USA, and the Department of Dermatology and Virology, um, first met Moscow State Medical University in Moscow, Russia. So these people got together, studied this, and wrote an excellent paper that was taken down. It was on the what is it called? National Institute of Health, NHI. It was on their website, but they took it down. But it says this research we show that 5G millimeter waves can be absorbed by dermatology dermatologic cells acting like antennas, transfer to other cells and play the main role in producing coronaviruses in biological cells. DNA is built from charged e electrons and atoms and has an inductor-like structure. This structure could be divided into linear, toroid, and round inductors. Inductors interact with external electromagnetic waves, move and produce extra waves within the cell. The shape of these waves are similar to the shapes of hexagonal and pentagonal bases of the DNA source. These waves produce some holes in the liquids within the nucleus and fill these holes with extra hexagonal and pentagonal bases are produced. These bases could join to each other and form virus-like structures, such as coronavirus. To produce these viruses within a cell, it is necessary that the wavelength of external waves be shorter than the size of the cell. Thus, 5G millimeter waves could be a good candidate for applying and constructing virus-like structures such as coronaviruses within cells. All right, y'all, this paper, this paper is so deep that I see why they had to take this down, because they are literally telling you how it is created, how it causes it. 5G technology is the fifth generation mobile technology in which its frequency spectrum can be divided into millimeter waves